Alrighty, YouTubies, what's up? Out here in the barn. Hot. Oh boy, is it hot. I got two wind whippers going and it don't put a dent in this heat. Let me tell you, wow, it's 110 heat index. Yeah, I did that little bit of bee work yesterday afternoon. Normally I do all the bee work like a sun up this time of year. Just right as soon as the sun starts coming up, I'm out there getting it. Dive into it, you know, hour or so, get back in the air conditioned truck and move bees, whatever, pull honey, get it done early. This heat will kill you. Anyway, took Miss Daisy for breakfast this morning. Then we went to grocery store. And I talked to my butcher, and lo and behold, he had standing rib roast, and I had him cut me up a whole rack. I think I ended up with 11, about a pound and a quarter a piece for $9.99 a pound. So yeah, so I did that. I should have got 2 racks, but Miss Daisy was bitching about that. You're eating too much of that. Stop it. Sometimes, guys, these women just don't get it, you know. They just don't understand what a carnivore needs. Anyway, I got 1 rack. That'll hold me for a few days. So I'm out here working on the cart. I must be sweet or something, guys. One of my girls came in to lick my leg. Yeah. She's still licking my leg. I don't know what's up with that. Get out of here, girl. Go lick somebody else's leg. Anyway, I'm working on my cart, the 26-mile-an-hour cart, bee cart. Here's the rubber I got for it. I think I got a pair of these. It's not, look at it. She won't leave my leg alone. I must be sweet or something. This tread looked a lot more aggressive than this in the pictures. Of course, everything does in pictures, right? But I think it's going to be suffice for what I'm doing. You'll notice on this, it's got a reset hub on this, and this protrudes slightly. I bought 2 foot of cold roll shafting, 5/8. The existing shaft was 5/8. I had to do a little drill job. I picked up a pair of these also, pillow blocks. They've got 2 set screws on them, as you can see here, 2 set screws. And I had to drill, I picked up and was able to utilize one of the holes. This is where the shaft was running through originally. And these wheels are the same size as the original wheels. So I was able to just utilize the center hole, top hole, and then I had to drill a hole here, 3/8. And I'm passing through, got a whole bag of goodies here, all my hardware. This stuff really starts to add up, guys, when you're doing these builds. The hardware gets crazy, guys. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not gonna dig it all out. Here we go. Look at this. Get out of here, girl. Girls are always trying to lick my leg or something, you know? I don't know what's up with that. Just kidding. Yeah, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pass the bolts through this way. And what I did is put a 5/16 washer on to incorporate, get that hole, and then I put a 3/8 on, and then on this side where the nut is and the wheel, I'll be putting a flat washer on. Then I picked up some block washers that will go on, and then before I put the nut on, I'm going to put some Loctite on, for the simple fact that this rig is going to be chain driven. And with the chain and bouncing and all that, you get a lot of chatter, okay? So I don't want this thing to chatter apart. Now granted, it will have a lock washer on there. So anyway, yeah, I'm just kind of showing you what I'm doing for this build. I stripped this whole cart down. It was blue. I wanted a John Deere green, so this is the closest thing I could come to the John Deere green right there. So yeah, I went through a whole can, and then I picked up another can of this, and I told my guy at the paint store, I gave him the cap, and I said, could you, I have this wood over here I gotta paint. I said, could you please give me a good quality house paint, exterior. Yeah, it's a self-cleaning technology, wow. And I got it semi-gloss. So this Sherwin-Williams stuff here, and I told him to match the color, and it looks pretty darn close to me from this can. I've already put 2 coats on this side of this plywood. I've got to put 2 coats on this side. That's why I'm out here in the barn today doing that. And then this panel here, this one right here, is going to be bolted on to the top of this plate. I want full coverage on my beehives. And I drilled 4 3/8 bolt holes. Yeah, I drilled 4 3/8 bolt holes, and this goes up. This will get centered up, and I'll clamp her down. I'll clamp her down there, and this is going to stay on permanently. Okay. And it's going to be bolted with carriage bolts, 4 of them going through here. Now, when I set a beehive, I've designed this to haul those 8-frame beehives. So I've got a lip here going around that I can throw them on. I plan on just, you could haul 3 boxes high there with that. But I think 2 would be plenty, because if you got loaded with honey, you're looking at about 160 pounds. I'll be running around on this cart. Okay, so my little mission today is to put 2 coats of paint on this. I picked up another can of this. When the cart's completely done, we can you know, spot hit it here and there, whatever. The thought here on this cart, he asked me to stand this thing up a second here. Will you sit there? Are you going to sit there for me? Yeah, looks like you are. All right, this piece of plywood here, by the way, this thing was not accurate all the way down. It's 12 inches at the top and about 11 and a half down here at this. I'm bringing the plywood just to here. There's going to be an open window here. The reason for the open window is we're installing, and it probably won't hit. It probably won't hit. But this shaft that's going through here is through this hole and this hole. It's 2 foot of shaft. I've got overkill of shaft going on this thing. Okay. So what we're going to have on that shaft, I picked up some collars. 5/8 collars here. They will go on. There's a locking portion here, and I think it's hitting right now. Whenever you're fooling with this stuff too, guys, pick yourself up a roll of emery cloth, because you have to spit shine and polish this thing and make sure there's no burrs. If this shaft sits out The reason I'm not assembling it now is I don't have the sprocket in here. There's going to be an 8-inch sprocket going in here, and it's going to be bumping this plywood. It's pretty close. 8-inch sprocket, but it will be slid on to where it'll just float for the moment until I mount the motor. When I mount the motor, I don't know the size of the motor. It may be sticking way over here, so I'm going to have to adjust it. We'll mount it first. And the trick is here, my trick on this thing is that the sprocket on that thing is here. The ass end is sticking way over here. So we will adjust that. It'll be bolted clear through on that piece of plywood with carriage bolts. This hinge will be. The other side of the motor will be attached. It just so happens on this motor, you've got the sprocket here, the S end, there's a floor plate that comes out, and the bolt holes are in the back. That'll incorporate on this hinge, or I may have to weld a little piece of steel, 3/16 or so steel onto that, either the motor base or whatever. But my plan is hopefully that this is wide enough to incorporate the base of the motor. The motor is going to be 48 volt, 2000 watt, probably monstrously overkill for this cart. And like I told you, he said, Dad, this thing's going to have the capability of running 26 miles an hour. I said, no, son. No, we don't want that. I can just see it now, son. Here's what'll happen. This, say a bison, I'm out here working bees, and all of a sudden the throttle sticks on this. He says it's going to be a thumb throttle. When you push it, when you punch it, it's going to be going 3 miles an hour, but you'll have a rheostat capability where you can just start it slow and then punch it. I said, sounds cool. I don't want it running over 3 miles an hour. And if this button you're doing and all this thumb throttle happens to stick, I can just see it now. Some witness will say, well, I saw what happened. This beekeeper, it was crazy. He was just going along fine, and all of a sudden he hit a little bump, and this thing took off flying, and he just death gripped the handlebars, and the cart was dragging him across the ground and rooster tailing dirt out the ass end. All of a sudden he hit a bump. The whole thing upside down. Somehow he got his penis and testicles caught in the number 40 chain on the back side of this thing. My son starts laughing. I said, yeah, I can see it all. This guy's calling into a supervisor, and the supervisor, what the hell's going on out there? Well, the witness says that the guy was going along, he hit a bump, all of a sudden the thing throttled up and was hauling ass. He hung on for dear life. All of a sudden he hit a bump, the whole cart went upside down. There's bees, 10 million bees flying around this box. We can't even get at the guy. Somehow not only is his testicles and his penis caught before the number 40 chain sprocket, it totally ripped his underwear off. His bare ass is hanging out, and the bees are just stinging him to death with his testicle and penis caught in the number 40 sprocket. It looks to me like, sir, he's bleeding out, and we can't get at him. But I don't think he's going to last much longer, sir, because he's getting weaker and weaker, and his screams are getting lower and lower. I just don't see him making it much longer. And my son's just cracking up. I said, listen, and then the supervisor said, oh, screw it. Are you guys backed away to where you're not going to get stung? Yes, sir. We're back in the truck. Nobody can get near this dude. He's about to gas out and check out. They say, okay, load your team up and get the hell out of there. For now, let's let the bees settle for 24 hours. Go back. We'll scrape up the body and cut his genitals out of the 40 sprocket and just move on. My son said, Dad, you've got quite an imagination. I said, hey, I've seen these scary things happen before, okay? Let's not have this throttle stick, and let's not meet going over 3 miles an hour this rig, okay? He said, you got it, Dad. Good Lord. So anyway, I'm out here chilling in the barn. Yeah, I want this cart to be able to hold stack 2 on it 2 boxes. It could go 3. And that's the reason I built this platform here, this base here. That's the top side to where the box will fit right in there. This piece of plywood here would jam up right tight against there like that. So it won't shift off. And just hopefully this chain sprocket won't grab me in the crotch and rip out my genitals, okay? Anyway, that's not gonna happen. Hey guys, I watch my boys now. I don't want them hurt, okay? So anyway, here's my thought on this whole setup. We're gonna have a 7.5 to 8 inch sprocket that matches the motor, the 48 watt motor. No, 2000 watt motor, 48 volt is going to sit in here. That has to be mounted first. We can go ahead and put our sprocket on here, let it float, right? I'm going to put my pillow blocks on. The pillow blocks up against the pillow blocks before the wheel goes on. I'm going to put a spacer here, these collar locks. I'm going to put this extended hub to the outside. So this wheel is going to sit in here about like this, about this far. It's going to be a little wider than the actual cart, but that's existing cart. The existing cart was jam up. They had it like this with that extension. So that bearing kissed this plate. I'm doing the opposite to get a little bit more spread. I think we're going to have a tad more stability like this, right? So we can assemble all this. I couldn't find a washer. I have a washer in here. I have a washer in here. This is not it. This happens to be a 5/8 washer. That's going to go on also. But I've got one that's bigger. See, this one here it's got kind of a gap. I found one down there that's thicker, and it's in the bag here. I worked on, I custom made 2 of them. I think they're right here. Yeah, here they are, right here. See, that goes right on there nice. What's going to happen here, and I'm going to double that up too like that. This one here, as you can see, gets right to the edge. It's going to be perfect weld. Look at that thing. I got about a 1/16 of an inch lip around here. So we can put that on. Put this on. All right. This is going to get welded. This washer is going to get welded to that. I'm going to stack this stuff up. Now, he said, Dad, once we weld, you're not going to get it apart. I said, listen, that shaft running through there cost me, I think, $7 and change. I got a local guy and getting lots of it. So, for what little usage I'm going to run this thing, it'll be a coon's age before, I would say a coon's age before I wear out these pillow blocks or wear out that chain, that sprocket. I can come in here and chop this thing out and drag the axles out, chop it either side, remove it, get another axle shaft and put this thing back together. If push come to shove, and by the time anything wears out, these things might be worn smooth anyway, right? So no biggie. You buy a pair of these were $30 for these wheels. All of this stuff's fairly cheap. I'm probably going to have $450 in this cart when I'm done. I'm going to have about $380 in the motor and sprocket. It all comes as a kit. The motor, the chain, we bought extra chain just in case I want to come up higher. I think there's only 16, 18 inches of chain, but you're going around this 8-inch, right? And this sprocket up here. Now, you're saying to yourself, Steve-O, how are you going to adjust the chain tension? You're thinking maybe idler sprocket, right? That's not what I'm thinking. It's not what I'm thinking. I'm thinking by mounting, I think this is a fairly heavy duty door hinge. With this mounted here, this motor will be able to rock back and forth like so. Okay. Now, to run tension on the chain, I purchased 3/8 Ultra. This is all my design. How this is going to work, we don't know. You really don't know on these projects till you get rocking and rolling. You just, you know, when you're in a pit of snakes, guys, like my old boss used to tell me, when you fall into a pit of snakes and they're all coming at you, hey, just grab one snake at a time and pinch his head off, okay? Throw him aside and grab you another snake, okay? That's how it works. And I've always done it like that. So I'm good at snake head pinching. Being in Florida, that's a plus. So what we will do, my thought is you've got 4 bolt holes on mounting this motor. Well, I will utilize 2 of those in the back to incorporate onto this hinge, whether I'm adding an extra plate, whatever. The all thread I'm going to use on the other holes, the other outside holes, to run through, and I got enough nuts here where I can, I'm thinking they're going to have, I may have to, I'm not sure yet if I'm going to have to add another bar here for chain tensioner, and I'm going to probably have to cut 2 of these rods to 1 on each side of that motor. So envision, guys, this hinge working here with a motor on it, right? We'll attach all of this hardware, the motor and everything, when we feel it's nice and comfy. I'm thinking the chain sprocket is going to end up over here. Once we determine that and we work out to where we can adjust the tension with the all thread, will be coming through this plate over here, okay? It'll be going up and down. And I can adjust it with a double nut system to where I can pull this up tight and then run this rod up to where it's snug. You don't go too nuts with it, have a little play, but as you run it, you know, as you know, chain stretches. So whether it be a bicycle or go-kart or whatever, your chain will start stretching. So that's why I'm using the all thread 3/8, so we can crack 2 nuts loose and bring it up and keep the chain tension tight. So it's a very simple, going to be a very simple design. All of the stuff, there's the 48 volt battery. I don't know the length of it, it's not real long, but I'm going to have plywood. As you can see, that panel is coming in on this side and ends up flush with this pipe. We'll incorporate all electronics on here, and then up through here on the right side, seeing as how I'm right-handed, will be a grip here with a thumb throttle on this thing. So all I had to do, I may drill more holes here, but I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 3/8 holes. I may put 1 center yet to stabilize that front. Don't know yet, but I think, you know, we're running 3/4 plywood. That's pretty tough, and it'll take a lot of the shock of the motor. That wood will take a lot of shock of the motor. So yeah, here I am in here playing around. Just thought I'd quickly drag out this hardware to show you what I'm doing here. I will be putting Loctite on, especially on these pillow blocks here. I'm going to be running the bolts this way, and there's going to be enough room here to get a box end wrench in here, or an open end wrench in here to hold that and loosen the bolts or tighten the bolts on this side. So I think that's going to work out hunky-dory. The whole build seems pretty simple to me. I'm good on the mechanical stuff. My son is a computer engineer, so I think he's got all the electrical stuff handled. He said he does. He said, I got you covered, Dad. This cart ain't gonna go more than 3 miles an hour when you punch it, okay? I said, that's all I want. And I want this cart to be able to pull 160 pounds. He said, you got that plus. You're not gonna stall these tires. You know, I had that bike and I thought sure as heck I could use that as a hunting bike. As I recall, that thing had a 1,000-watt motor on that thing, and my ass weighs 180 pounds. I need to lose a little weight. I think about 10 pounds, and it's all right here. It's all right there, but that's going to come off, guys. The way I'm going, it's going to come off. But at 180 pounds, I could go with that 100 or 1,000-watt motor. I was right up there. The heck was I? I was running about 26 miles an hour with that thing. It was hauling ass for me. I didn't want it, but I bought it for scouting the woods and stuff. Well, in these woods that I go to, it's got sand and it's got gravel, and that thing, I got puckered up on it, but I almost came out from under that thing a couple times on gravel, on that loose marbly gravel. They put the cheapest junk they can in there, that old lime rock crap in the roads. If they put granite in there, it'll lock down and make a good road, but apparently nobody's smart enough to use granite, or I guess granite's too expensive. I don't know. But I know on my driveway, I use lime rock for years, and what a freaking farce that is. Every time you run over, you're crushing that soft stone, and it turns to powder, and then a rain comes, and all that talcum powder washes away, and you just, you know. But you put granite in there, that stuff's like diamonds. You can run on it, and all it does is get better. It just keeps compacting and tightening up. But in the wildlife management areas, nobody's smart enough to do that. I don't know why they don't have tons of extra granite, because they're taking up all the railroad tracks around here. Yeah, I think Harris wants all electric school buses and all electric tractor trailer. Yeah, I just can't wait for that movie. These flipping airheads. But yeah, granite is a great road, but they don't put it in there. So I was running around out there in these wildlife management areas on this loose stuff, and then you'd hit a whole patch of sand. That motor would just bog out. I mean, I'd have to get off of it, because it wouldn't, the friction in that sand wasn't getting it. So I told him my experience on it. He said, you're not going to have that issue with this cart, Dad. This cart is going to keep cranking and grinding. You ain't going to stop it in the sand. It may go down, and it may go down in the sand, but it's not going to. I said, this area I'm running is hard surface pretty much. I mean, it's grass, but there's a lot of hard base in there. It's almost like I don't know, it's almost like a rock in there where I'm going with this thing. I shouldn't have any issues. I should, especially my ground around here, I should be able to run this cart all over the freaking place. And yeah, so that's what I'm doing today, guys. I'm just out here in the barn chilling. I'm not working bees. I got to get out here and work some bees and pull off a few more nooks. I'm hoping. I got to go out and look, see what the girls are doing, and rob some stuff from the very best colonies, and then we'll date it, and we'll come back in a month and see what we got. And then I want to do it again in September, and I think it's September 2 or 3, as I recall. I've got a new moon then. We'll make up our last batch of the year of 2-frame walkaways, see what we have. Yeah, so this whole project is going to be on the back burner I'm getting everything to go. I've got to go to my grandson's birthday party this weekend, so I'm taking all this stuff to him because we have some welding to do on this cart. Different things. This shaft, that washer I told you about that we're going to weld here, that is what's going to make this a live axle. Right now you have bearings here, as you can see. There's bearings here. Those are basically get eliminated. That washer is going to get welded, and then that shaft is going to get welded to the washer. It's going to be a live shaft. Now, if you ever want to tear it apart, you're going to have to cut it with a metal blade and a sawzall, whatever, a cutting torch. Then you're going to have to grind. If you want to salvage this wheel, you're going to have to get a body grinder and grind this down. That's why I wanted this side up. See, because it extends on. You can grind that out, but you're going to play hell grinding down in this recess. That's my thoughts. What do you think? So that's the project for today. Everything's basically done on my end of this deal. My son's going to get the rest of this project. Of course, I'm going to be there helping him. He said get those crappy grippers off of there, so I cut them off with a knife. And he said we'll get new bicycle grips or something put on there. He said wire wheel this whole thing down, which I did. I painted it with a Rust-Oleum paint. So we're that part there. Now he's putting on, he said, what do you want to name this cart? I said, let's call this the SD John Deere Mule Cart, because we got John Deere green, right? So he came up with a bunch of stuff, and he said, I'm going to make you a sign to go on there. And the sign, the two boxes, when you throw them on there, come up to about here, okay, on the plywood. So I've got this much here area for electronics. He's going to bolt on. The battery will go in there. It's a slim battery, real slim configuration. It's going to be a key switch on this thing also. But right here he's got a what do you have, what do you say, a 4 by 10 sign is going right in here that I can screw to the plywood. It's going to be on a 1/4 inch plywood, completely sealed up, and then it'll say honey hauler right here. Yeah, that bee is licking my leg again. I wonder if I can get Miss Daisy to lick my leg. No, let's not go there. Yeah, it's gonna say honey hauler here. Kind of cool sign. He sent me a picture of it, and actually he's already built the sign. And all you got to do is epoxy. He's gonna completely epoxy it on both sides. He said you'll have 4 points where you're gonna screw down to the 3/4 decking on there. Now, when I'm all done with this cart, it's probably going to be too heavy to just lift up, throw on the truck. We'll find out. I mean, it'd be nice if I could just lift it up, throw it on the truck, and I may be able to do that, but it looks to me like it's going to be a little awkward. So I'm going to look around for either brackets, ramp brackets, and I'm thinking 2x6, 2x6 with maybe a lip on each side. Paint them up to John Deere green to where I can hook into my tailgate on my 99 Ranger and drive this cart right up on to the tailgate and put it to bed. So that's it, guys, for today. Hope all is well in your world. Hang in there. Things are going to get better this year. Yes, they are. I hope you guys are making lots of bees. Thank you, please. I'll see you on the next one. Be happy, be strong. We're going to keep getting it on. See ya.